Right. For start, I don't use the word God. It's a matter of choice, of course. But when I was brought up as a kid, God was always pictured to me as an elderly male in white with lots of light around him and a long white beard and white hair. But since I've been into what I'm doing now, then why is God male? You can't answer that. Nobody can answer that. Why is God male? I don't see God as male or female. I see God as an energy. I don't see God as a human. Why should God be human? Working class childhood in the middle of Sheffield. Left school, joined the Air Force at age 16. 24 years in the Air Force, aircraft engineer, Lightnings and Harriers. Left at 40. Second career in British Aerospace, retired at 55. I started with IBS just before I left the Air Force. You would think it was the Air Force that caused it, maybe, or the thought of leaving it, maybe. No, so I had that, and I went through everything the National Health Service could throw at me for that. You know, you'd have some more pills and they'd make a difference, and then you'd go back to normal, so you didn't bother. You'd have therapy and you'd have counselling and all sorts of stuff. I went and had everything that they would throw at me, but it never fixed it. Then I went to see a physiotherapist. The subject of Reiki came up. Don't ask me how. I have no idea. And she says, I think Reiki might do you some good. What's that, says I. Well, it's, have a go and I'll, you'll experience it. Anyway, first time she put her hands on my head, like that, with your eyes closed, my head lit up like a searchlight inside. It was like switching on a 10,000 watt light bulb. What in heaven's name is this, I'm thinking, yeah? But I'm an engineer, and engineers need evidence. That was sheer evidence. She gave me a few more sessions of Reiki, and I says, well, how do I learn this? So I went on that path, and a year later I got to Reiki 1, which is basically, you're in there, you've learnt a bit about it, now time to go away and practice it and come back, you're ready for Reiki level 2, which is when you can practice it, get yourself insurance and go around and practice it, etc. We were not put on this planet to meet other people's expectations, and that's a big one. What it means, of course, is that why should we try to meet other people's expectations? Be who you are, nobody else, not what anybody else wants you to be or thinks that you should be. I found myself in a spiritualist church, but it felt at home. As soon as I sat there, although it was strange and different, and I thought, this is where I need to be. Then I found out that they actually do healing, spiritual healing. I'd never heard of it before. And I thought, okay, what's all this then? Because I've done Reiki. Well, I said, yes. So I had a few of those healers in the church at the time. And so I said, what do I do? So I went through the process of becoming a spiritual healer or a healer in the spiritualist church. So I went down that route. And I found it very, very satisfying to actually be able to put your hands on somebody, just on the shoulders, and it make a difference. Only for 10, 15 minutes or whatever, and it makes a difference. But these people, they'll walk out of there and they've got a lighter step and hopefully a smile on their face. And for 10 minutes, we've just put a bit of healing into their lives and perspective into it. We need to be who we are, and we need to be the individual that our spirit is. That's the whole point of this. The more individual we can be within the parameters of the society that we live in, just because you can be who you are, for instance, you're not going to race around, causing mayhem and chaos everywhere. No, we all do live in a society, we haven't got parameters, and we do live in a certain structured way. It's about being who you are. And it's about not being controlled by other people, for instance. It's about not being controlled by your negative emotions. Unfortunately, males are brought up, or were brought up in my era, not to cry. You don't cry. Big boys do not cry. Stiff upper lip and all that. Females find it easy to cry. So they can get rid of that emotion, yeah? So it doesn't harbour it, it's not harboured inside them. But if you can't process negative emotions in that way, then your body will process it for you physically. And that's when you're going to get problems. At the end of the day, you have certain things like fibromyalgia and I think rheumatoid arthritis, which are immune system related disorders, colitis for instance. Well, isn't that your body processing negative emotions in that way? Guilt. I've had that in the past. I don't have it anymore. No way. I did things in the past that I thought I was guilty of, and I felt guilty about it, and it hangs on in there. This is where the IBS comes in. That's another thing, isn't it? That fits in with those sort of fibromyalgia and all IBS, yeah. And one of the things that I felt guilty about, and then I realised, why should I feel guilty? Because at that particular time, I was only doing what my spirit said I should do at that point in time. Yes, it was wrong, but it was only me doing what my spirit said I needed to do at that side. So that was me, the real me. So don't feel guilty about it anymore. I won't do it again. I've moved on, I've learned, and I shan't repeat it. But I will not feel guilty about it. Fear. That's the other one. Fear. If you're living with fear stored in here, crikey, you have now put a big control factor around your life, aren't you? I can't do that, what if, worry, fear. Yeah. Why? It was said to me some time ago, I'll never forget this, during this last few years. Listen to this for a saying. Fear knocked at the door, faith opened it to find nobody there. It's classic. It just sums it up. Fear knocked at the door, faith opened it to find nobody there. Totally unjustified. But if you're, fair enough, if you're strapped to the East Coast main line with a 125 coming towards you 50 yards away, be afraid. Yeah, fine, okay, yeah. But normal circumstances, what you're frightened of. You might think people have done something wrong to you, probably have. But why hate them for it? Why be angry at them for it? Why not just accept them for who they are? Just accept them for who they are. You don't have to live with them. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to be with them. Yeah? You always walk away. You've got free will. Lesson in life. Yeah, look at that. I don't want to be like that. If you accept somebody for who they are, yeah, then you can't judge them. And this is where a lot of hate and anger comes. You judge people. Yeah, he's a so-and-so, I'll get angry with that. Why? They've only been as they are. So once you learn to accept them, that's so-and-so, just let them get on with it, I'll go the other way, you can go that way. Yeah? Once you do that, you found you've not judged them. And if you can't judge it, if you're not judging anybody, then there's nobody to forgive. And there's nothing to forgive. All of a sudden I found that I accepted the other person for who they were. And therefore I realised that I didn't judge him. And I had nothing to forgive them for. Because I didn't judge them, they were just being who they were at that time, and they were doing what they felt right at that time. Their free will, their choice. If you accept somebody else for who they are, then you also need to learn how to accept yourself for who you are. At the end of the day, what I'm saying, it's not mandatory for people. We're all here this time round, because I'm a spiritualist, yeah, to learn, get experience. And we, have these experiences, we learn from them, and we move on. And the next time I'm here, if I'm coming round again, yeah, then I'll be in another situation, in another body, yeah, somewhere else maybe, having more experience too, until I don't need to experience anymore. I like to go back to the simple things. Yeah, keep it simple. It's like the old Morris Minor. Got you to the shops and back, and you could fix it. It was simple, didn't break down. Yeah, well, it did sometimes, yeah. But keep it simple. And to me, looking at life from the simplistic view that I've just hopefully given to you, might not sound simplistic to you right now, but I'm sure if you think about what I've just been saying, sometime in the future, all these thoughts will click in there and say, oh yeah, that's simple, why didn't I think of that? I often, this might sound I don't know, odd to some people certainly, but when you get into this like I've got into this, and I've got this understanding now, this knowledge to me, yeah, and I look at life a different way, because, all right, go back a bit now, I ain't got IBS anymore. Nah, I'm healthy. I've got a unique combination of spirit, mind and body, so have you. We're not the same, we'll never think the same, but that's your free will, I've got mine. Etc. I've found that a lot of sayings from those philosophies have resonated with me. Isn't it? Is it a Buddhist saying that if you want to know the answers, don't look without, look within. Yeah, that's Buddhism as far as I'm aware. So yeah, they're on the same path, but basically all this is it's the same energy. It just comes through in different ways. Yeah, crikey. Reiki, for instance, I'll go back to that because that's Japanese in origin about 100 years ago. You know, and some people have said to me when we've been having discussions, you know, and they've been to us for healing, and because we don't charge for healing, how can you charge? People come to us vulnerable, they need healing, they get it for nothing, you know, donation in the box if they want to, but that's it, there's no charge. And somebody said, you know, what's the difference then between what I've just experienced, your spiritual healing, and Reiki? And the answer usually is £40 an hour.